In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Roca and Matt Nost are here to bring you the top 10. Take it away, boys.
Welcome, everybody, to another brand new episode of Topic Under. Here from the Top 10 Show, I am John Roca.
I am Matt Nost, and as we've said in the past, this is a show for patrons, driven by patrons. If you want to join in, go to patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10, and you join at the $5 tier and up, and you get to participate in this, and you also get a shout out at the end of the month and all kinds of different fun stuff. So head over there, and the show is basically you send in whatever you want us to talk about, and I believe you're starting this one, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so much fun. Let's get into it. We really enjoyed the questions that have been sent to us. So let's pick up where we left off, and let's start off with Angela Dashner. Angela Dashner, one of our patrons here, says, thanks, Matt and John. Always love the shows, and the content is a great break in the middle of this crazy time right now. Well, thank you, Angela, for being a fan. Movies are sometimes being remade with varying degrees of success. So with that in mind, what movie franchise would you like to see rebooted from the past? Thanks, as always, for everything you both do to entertain and brighten my day, Angela. Well, you're welcome, Angela. Absolutely. All right, Matt, do you have a franchise from the past that you would like to see rebooted nowadays with today's technology, today's actors, what have you?
Well, the thing is, if it was any good, it's already been rebooted.
Wow. You think that? Okay.
By and large, can you name a franchise off the top of your head that has not been rebooted in the past, say, 10 years?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, The Thin Man was a great franchise way back when in the 40s. And him and was it William Powell and Myrna Loy, and they haven't really kind of redone that version of that. So I don't know. I don't know if there are franchises from back then. I mean, you could argue the Frankenstein Wolfman stuff, but they've tried to reboot it a number of times.
With
just
Tom
haven't
Cruise's
really got it off the mummy thing.
Supposed to be the Universal's universe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work. I mean, King Kong and Godzilla they brought back. A bunch of them, like Terminator and Aliens, are still going.
Oh God, help us all! Yeah, and they're terrible.
Yeah, so I can't think of an entity that exists that has not been Starship Troopers, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we haven't seen a version of Starship Troopers. Has there been a TV show? I don't remember if there was a TV show.
I don't know. I'm sure it's just as terrible as the movies. Yes, I don't like those movies.
Which ones are those?
The fucking Starship Troopers.
Oh, you don't like? Yeah, I don't like that. I don't think a movie's that great. People try to tell me it's a socially conscious whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, but I've seen that whatever concept they're presenting in that movie, I've seen in like 30 other movies done in way more interesting circumstances. What about Jaws?
With better actors.
And with better actors, fair. What about Jaws? They haven't rebooted Jaws.
Sure. Well, they kind of did with Megalodon.
Oh, the Meg or whatever it was called? Yeah.
Which was just terrible.
Yeah, it was absolutely bad. Yeah.
It was so bad. I was done halfway through, and I was like, I know this is the middle of this movie, and this sucks. I mean, thankfully, I had the AMC pass, so it was part of the monthly bill that I was already getting. So
right.
Who gives a shit? I didn't have to pay singularly for that.
True.
Let's see what else.
Highlander. What about Highlander? Have they tried to reboot Highlander?
Do you think you could? You know what I mean? Is there enough of a demand?
I don't know. I mean, it's still that first one is still something people talk about nowadays and love to discover and go back into the 80s and discover it. So I would say it's possible. Maybe Highlander. I don't know. Red Sonja. They keep trying to make that movie. They initially had what's his face, who was kicked off the film. The guy who did the X-Men movies, Bryan Singer was originally part of it. And they kicked him off and moved a woman in there to direct it, but they haven't gone forward past that. So she'd be interesting. They tried to do Conan with Momoa, and that was a disgrace.
Yeah, I was intrigued by that, and then I heard it was just brutal, and I was like, I'm not that big a Conan fan anyway, a Conan fan. So I didn't really care. It's kind of like when Pathfinder came out. It was like, oh, this seems like a variation on Conan, and then everybody said it is terrible, and I was like, I almost want to see it because it's just, I don't know, a single person that doesn't say it's just brutal.
It's bad, but the cinematography is pretty fucking incredible in that film. Just the problem is everything around it is not good.
But it's like that. Was it 10,000 BC or something?
Oh yeah.
Interesting idea, just brutal movie.
Yeah. I was just thinking of one. It went out of my head. Oh, Flash Gordon, right? We haven't had a Flash Gordon.
Okay.
We haven't seen anybody reboot that one.
Yeah,
that could be fun.
Superhero type of pulpy, heroes out there. Yeah, I could see that working.
Yeah, I could see Flash Gordon coming back.
I mean, they've talked about doing Howard the Duck, but whether or not that actually happens, who knows? And that's not really a franchise as of yet.
Right. What do you think of V.I. Warshawski? Remember that with Kathleen Turner? That's based on a series of novels.
Is it really? I remember
she's
not
a
liking
spy.
that.
Yeah, it wasn't a good movie, but it was their attempt to try to reboot that or try to turn that into a franchise for her.
My mom was a fan of hers. And for that short burst in the 80s when she was, the A-list actor, the number one on the call sheet.
Oh, yeah. She was
my mom was a fan. For like 3 years, 4 years.
She was like, everybody wanted her. She was hot.
She could put out anything she wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
Which is rarefied air.
Yes.
For any actor.
Yeah. And even more so for any actress. Because it's a tough business. Yeah.
Yeah, fewer have the franchise possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't think of any. I mean, they did the Planet of the Apes already. Speed's possible. They haven't. But would you want to go back and do that again? Like, is it that big of a deal? Can't go below 50. That kind of thing. What would make it interesting?
I don't know. It's like Jaws. Can you really top that first one? Is still just as good. So what's the point?
True. That's what I think about West Side Story. What's the point? Why is Spielberg remaking West Side Story?
I don't know.
What's the fucking point? I think
of
won 11
all the
Oscars.
options.
Yeah. Right.
Hopefully it's great, but I just don't really think it needs to be done.
Yeah. They remade Ben-Hur and it was a piece of crap. So it's just like so frustrating when they try to do that bullshit. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, especially West Side. It's a musical first and foremost.
Yes.
And then on top of that, it's already been done and both are considered excellent.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, why touch it? It is, but he wants to introduce it to a new generation that have never seen the original. So
yeah.
It's the only plausible reason I can come up with it.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. Well,
all right. Cool. Thank you so much, Angela, for that question. All right, what's our next one there?
Oh, we got another, so we'll do one of them from Chris Lemke, man. Machine Gun Fire Lemke. Hey guys, after watching Tenet, Nolan doesn't have a bad one in there. Some much better than others, but nothing categorically can be called bad.
Wow. Which
got me thinking, who do you think are the most consistently delivering actors, writers, directors currently and historically?
I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis, I've never seen him deliver a bad performance.
Okay.
I say Quentin Tarantino. I don't know if I've ever seen a bad Quentin Tarantino movie. I may have seen a movie I don't 100% care for, but that doesn't mean it was bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Jackie Brown is a damn good movie, well written. I'll probably see it maybe one more time before I leave the earth. Like it's not that big of a deal of a movie for me to watch, even though I respect the movie itself. But but even the Death Proof stuff I liked. So to me, I haven't seen anything from him that I consider bad.
Yeah. Fincher.
Yeah, Fincher's another one. Sure. Even Alien 3, I can defend.
I like Alien 3.
Yeah, to a degree, I can defend that film. But I have not seen a bad Fincher film yet. Or Villeneuve. I haven't seen a bad Villeneuve movie.
Yeah. He doesn't have quite the filmography as the others.
That's
but
fair.
It's slowly stacking up.
Yeah.
And if Dune is good, just another feather in his cap.
Yeah. And if people come to see it, that's a big feather in his cap. That's the thing.
I saw, IMAX theater in Irvine is open.
Yeah.
I haven't looked to see what theaters are open around here outside of drive-ins.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I wonder if anybody's going to see Tenet right now.
I might go this week sometime if I've got a morning open. I might swing over to that IMAX theater. I was looking at it too to see if they're showing that and New Mutants, just to have a little fun and see how terrible that is too. Because I hear it's not good.
New Mutants?
Yeah.
I mean, horror superhero. Okay.
Yeah.
But I know some people that have gone and they've lucked out, not in LA yet, but not far from LA.
Right.
Where it was, them and 3 other people in the theater. that I could do. If I could know beforehand,
right.
There's only, going to be a handful and in, like 400 seat theaters. And there's just 4 people. So that I could definitely be in on. It's just when it's 400 seater and there's 100 seats in there taken. No thanks.
Yeah. No. Oh, no way, dude. Yeah. I mean, I only want to see like 4 people when I walk in there. If I see more than that, fuck that. I'm out.
I would wear, because I've got a full respirator when I do like heavier duty shit.
Yeah.
It comes in handy. I would wear the full respirator. And then I jokingly said to Catherine, I was like, and then maybe goggles and gloves. I'm not sure yet. You know what I mean? We'll play that one by ear.
Right.
But yeah, if I went even with 4 people, I'm wearing a respirator.
Oh, yeah.
Even though that is so much overkill, I don't need it. And I know that rationally, but just in case.
Just in case. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. I look like a bigger weirdo. Who cares? They couldn't pick me out of a lineup anyway, so it's not like I'm going to be shamed afterwards.
Right. Good point.
But I don't. Yeah, I want to go so bad. I'm jonesing to go to a movie. There's just no chance right now.
Yeah, I mean, when we were down in San Diego, there was like a moment or two where I considered going to, because obviously all the theaters are open down there, or most of them. But I was like, I don't know, man. At the end of a long day of looking at houses to see which one you want to move into, it's just frustrating. And you're like, do I really want to go and sit in a theater and just like possibly get COVID? And then I had a bunch of people who like direct messaged me or tweeted at me and said, yeah, I went to the theater. Me and my friend, we were 2 of the 3 people in there. So had I known how empty these theaters were, I would have tried it out.
Yeah, maybe we edit this part out so we don't we don't start putting extra butts in the seats for the time being, and we go see a couple movies this week.
Yeah. Fair point. But
yeah, I'm just waiting for those movies to go to the drive-in, and then I'll happily go to the drive-in.
Yeah. Agreed.
Won't be as good an experience, but better than nothing. Better than sitting at home trying to figure out what new show I'm going to try because I'm sick of everything else that's on television.
Yeah, that's a fair point, dude. That's a fair point.
Yeah, I'm burnt. Like, what new shit you in?
Yeah, me? Am I watching? No, we've been watching all British stuff. So we've been kind of watching stuff off the BritBox app and the Acorn app. We just finished watching something called McDonald and Dodds, I think is what it's called. And then they just dropped the 2nd season of Criminal UK, which is an awesome series where basically every episode is the same cops or same detectives rather, and it's one interrogation room.
Okay.
And they have guest stars who come in and try to. And so this season it's Sophie Okonedo from Hotel Rwanda. It's Kit Harington from Game of Thrones. It's this actress called Sharon Horgan, who's fantastic. She's in Catastrophe on Amazon Prime with Rob Delaney, and then the Indian actor from Big Bang Theory. That kid comes in. He's pretty awesome. So they basically they're 45, 46 minutes each episode, and they're just trying to get them, just trying to wear them down to get and it's the twists and turns within the interrogation are pretty awesome as well. But the first season was great, and so this season's we burned through that. So that's a problem, Matt, because we have so much like nighttime time. We're burning through seasons and running out of stuff to watch. And we've been watching The Vow. We've been watching Love Fraud, those documentaries on there. So, but we're running out, dude. It's desperation time.
I know. I'm trying to talk her into starting in on documentaries that have come out this year.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't really like documentaries. So,
wow.
A, she's got to be in the right mood. And
tough.
B, it's got to be something that she's into. There's a couple that I've shown her the trailer, and she's like, I'd be in on that. Okay. There are others I don't show her because I just know it's not her.
Right.
It's not going to be her cup of tea.
Right.
But yeah, we've burned through so much television. She's already watched all those British shows.
Oh, she's already jumped into them. Okay.
No, legitimately. She started that like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So there's none of those left that we can. I mean, some of them. Right. She watched The Crown long before I did, and she's like, "I'm willing to go back and rewatch that if you want to." And I was like, "Sure." And then now I thoroughly enjoy that show. It's great.
Right. The Crown's great. Yeah.
But yeah, the interview one, I watched the first 2 of season 1, and I like it. I get it, just not for me.
Right. I hear you.
But it's a good show. It's an interesting concept, and it's unique.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But after 2, I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I think I get this.
Yeah.
I'd rather have some sort of storyline arc through as opposed to one-offs. Personally, just it's easier to burn through, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, but we're watching fucking House. We started it.
Oh shit!
1. We're on like season 6 or season 7, whatever the.
That is hilarious. House.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it.
There's nothing, man.
I know, dude. I know.
I'm waiting on Fargo. That should be by the time they hear this. Fargo's out.
Yeah, the Chris Rock one. Yeah.
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 But I'll be watching that.
And then Mandalorian's right around the corner. That's October.
End October, isn't it?
Yeah. And The Boys is out now. The Boys is damn good on Amazon Prime. Second season's been good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't.
And then that Ted Lasso.
That's awesome. Yeah. I know you've already burned through it, but that's like we said on a previous show. I don't know if it was a Topic Thunder or the regular show. They took what ostensibly on the outside is a paper thin premise.
Yeah.
And with a character that I think I would normally dislike.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody that's just that plucky and upbeat. And Jason Sudeikis does it with such an authenticity that you fucking love Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And all these, what early on, I was like, man, it seems like there's going to be a lot of bad acting on this. But as you get to know them, you understand that they already made these choices and you were just seeing flashes of the choice they made for the character.
Yeah.
So you hadn't had time to kind of like soak it all in. But the dynamic they create between all the staff and stuff and the players, and it's awesome, man.
Yeah. I agree 1,000%, man.
Yeah.
It's been fun. All right. That was Lemke, right?
Yes, that was another from Lemke. We should just, do this as Topic Thunder brought to you by Chris Lemke.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just do a Lemke show.
All right, let's move on to skip over the next one then and go into Sean LaBua. Yeah. All right.
Let's do it.
Sean LaBua says, hey, Matt and John, what do you guys think will be the best way of the NBA to conduct the 2020-2021 NBA season? So next season. I've heard different rumors like starting the season on December 1st, starting the season on Christmas. And most recently, I even read that there's a potential plan to not start the season until March. There are so many factors to consider, like league revenue, salaries, how many games to play, whether or not there will be fans in the stands, etc. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Thanks. All right. Matt, you are the NBA, self-professed NBA expert here. So please go ahead. What do you think should happen?
I never professed to be the NBA expert.
Please.
I just rightly point out that I watch a lot more than the average person.
That's fair. Than the average person? Yes, I would agree.
And, when you average the number of people out to 2, more than the average person. Anyway, December 1st isn't happening.
Oh, yeah, you don't think so?
No. Okay. Adam Silver already came out and said nothing definitive, but he was like, the beginning of December seems a little too early. We want to open back up when there's going to be fans in the stands.
Right.
So then it became somewhere around Christmas to basically being the beginning of the new year type of thing. I have not heard March. Doesn't mean that somebody didn't float a plan that has March in there. There's a lot of playoff coverage, and I'm focused on that. Yeah. And watching the games there and shit like that.
Right.
Still, I don't see March because then they'd be ending right when football season starts, and they want to avoid NFL as much as possible. So even if they have to come back, in January and do limited seating. They've also talked about doing mini bubbles type of things where LA would be one and somewhere down in Texas would be another. And then somewhere over where you could get a couple courts and you have a few teams go to that city and stay in that city for a couple weeks,
right?
Play a handful of games, and then they move on to another city and stay there for a couple weeks type of thing.
Yeah.
That way it's easier to manage and they're not always in and out of new hotels and stuff. So that's possible. But yeah, there's nothing definitive right now. They're still playing it by ear. Although the WNBA had an outbreak of potential of COVID.
Oh, really?
They got some uncertain tests back.
Oh, okay. That again.
So they postponed a game. It's like game one of the semifinals. I don't know who the two teams are, but it could come. It could be like Jimmy Butler had an inconclusive one, and then they retested him and found out within 12 hours or 18 hours or something, the second test came back negative and it was just a false on the first one. Yeah. Or an inconclusive. We don't know.
Right.
So it could be that. Who knows? But yeah, I haven't heard anything specifically definitive as of right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think there is anything definitive.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to see how this all finishes out the season. We're in the conference playoffs right now, the conference finals right now. So we'll have to see how this all plays out after the NBA finals are over.
Yeah.
And by that I mean once they are over, like, okay, what condition is the country in? What condition? How are we starting to spike again in certain areas? What's the point? I mean, the reason the NBA has been somehow able to escape all of this stuff is that bubble situation. It actually worked out. Whereas the NFL has had some positive tests. Every other sport has had positive tests except for the NBA. And it's been incredible. So if you're going to start the season that way, then you've got to really figure out the logistics of all those teams being able to be under because they could barely. I mean, the 22 was. I'm sure it was pushing right at the edge. Adding in 10 more teams or what have you, I think it seems like that's a lot to ask of any hotel staff, any chefs, any people staying within the limits and the restrictions and the rules.
Well,
so I think all of that,
it'd be like 4 to 8 teams in one city. So in Los Angeles, and they're using Staples Center type of thing, and they're just playing games every day type of thing. But then in another city, it's 8 teams. So they just kind of then they take out those, 6 of those 8, they move on, and 6 new ones come in, and they all play their games or whatever the case is going to be. But it'd still be, if you're not at home, then that hotel staff has to deal with quite a bit.
And you'd have to do the quarantining before you go into the new city. So it'd be games, you could say, Matt, games every day, and then these large breaks possibly before the games start up again every day. Another large break stayed up. So that would be maybe the way they could navigate it. Although it seems like a technical headache, massive one. I think that's a way they could go for sure. But I love the bubble situation.
It almost seems like they should buy an apartment complex in the cities. And then they can control all of that, and then they can bring food in. You can be catered and whatnot. But then they have X number of restaurants, and it sucks, guys. You can't eat wherever you want to, but if you want to make your millions of dollars, you got to do this.
Right.
It's not ideal, but at least you're able to make millions of dollars.
Right. Exactly.
So
I'm getting
dialed down.
I'm getting your shot there.
I know. I understand. Like when people have complained about the bubble, how can you not? Everybody gets complacent no matter what kind of situation that they're in. Even if they're multimillionaires, you're still a person at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But hopefully you would be able to take a step back and be like, this isn't as bad as it could be, and as bad as it is for 99% of the people experiencing this world right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the other side of it is, I don't think the NBA wants to do that because, I mean, the issues for lawsuits would escalate. The issue, I mean, like the legal aspect of it all would be incredible to consider and navigate, don't you think?
Yeah, but I think you could bake that into the next CBA and be like, you have to indemnify us because we're trying as best we can. Look at Orlando when we work together with the Players Association. This is what we can pull off.
Yeah,
you got to trust in the fact that we are doing everything we can to plan this so you're safe.
Yeah,
and this is the best results of any sports league in the U.S. hands down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's also smaller rosters, smaller staff, smaller everything. It's one of the easier sports to move around.
Right. And your playoffs came quickly, and you're able to move people out. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the NFL has got to go through their whole season before it gets to the playoffs.
I don't know how the NFL doesn't have an outbreak at one of these teams, like a big one.
Yeah.
There's just too many. The marketing and advertising staff on these, and then there's an analytics department. There's the GM's office. There's the training staff. And it's just like, dude, these things are massive billion-dollar machines.
Yep. Well, it already started to happen. Well, it already, like with what's his face, the owner of the Redskins, Snyder. Sorry, the owner of the Washington football team. Snyder and his wife are in quarantine right now because they somehow picked up COVID, and so they're in quarantine. So
they get it from his mistress.
I don't know. I don't get involved.
He's got to have one, right? He seems the type.
Not just one. I have a feeling he
seems the type. I don't know anything about that man outside of what I've read about how he runs that team.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if he's 30.
And coming up next, we got one of the former cheerleaders for the Washington Football Club here. Talk about the character of Dan Snyder. Anyway, take it away.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Show us the pictures that you had to take to send to him. Yeah, absolutely. Craziness, man. But anyway, all right, we're at 26 minutes. You want to wrap it here? You want to do it more?
Let's wrap it here.
All right, and thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Topic Thunder. I always appreciate you all sending in the questions, and you never know where we're going to go on these when we answer these questions, these tangents and what have you. But we hope you're enjoying them, and they are picking up your spirits as we all navigate the madness of COVID-19 now, and do our best to entertain you and bring you some great content for you to enjoy through your week. And thank you to everybody who's a patron here on the Top 10 show. You guys, you ladies, help us stay alive. And right above my head is the address there, patreon.com/the-top10, if you want to be a part of the Top 10 Patreon.
Yeah, and it's with the number 10. Please join us over there if you feel so inclined. And, if not, just share the show around. If that's the support that you can give, we thoroughly appreciate that. Or write a review on the podcast app of your choice, or leave us a comment on YouTube, whatever you feel like doing. But we'll take every bit of positivity that we can get in this cold, dark, disgusting world that we're living through right now. Let's bring out the light, folks. Let's be the shining beacon of light. 1,000 points of light, all coming from one show.
1,000 points of light. Come together.
We're sending it out there. And you can follow me anywhere at Matt Knows to see the different stuff that I'm doing. And that is it for me this week.
There, you can follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And don't forget, for those of you who listen to us on the podcast channel, we also have a YouTube channel. So go and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and get us going there, and get us, as many people subscribing to the YouTube channel for the Top 10 as possible, to see our pretty faces talking about all this stuff and the golden, and see some of your fellow patrons participating in the golden ticket every Monday, putting faces to names of the people who've been part of our show for a long time, and you've probably communicated with before as well in the Facebook group or on Twitter. So there you go. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you next time for another brand new episode of Topic
Thunder.